remarkable, successful 30-year titan in business with having multiple businesses that generate multiplied millions of dollars.
And if that plan happens to be to build $1 million company, which I can help you do.
But he's humble. He's a man of God. He's a family man.
The world's news organizations are built on everything but positivity.
He is an influential entrepreneur and business speaker for over 30 years.
I've got to forecast. I've got to pronounce. I've got to project. I've got to share with you my ideas, my vision, my goals for not only myself, but for you.
That's why he's came up with his incredible concept of taking and creating a platform for people that are wired differently.
And you got to understand that your habits of your person and your habits of your business and your habits of your spirituality have to lead to the North Star of who you are. We need to figure out who we want to be in life.
Good morning, good morning, good morning. It's Fri Fri Friday. I know. We all have fun on Fridays. We want to have fun on Fridays. Not everybody sees Fridays the way they probably should see Fridays, or we want people to see Fridays, or where we want to see Fridays. Fridays is the end of the week for a lot of people here in America and all over the world. We work Monday through Friday, then we take the weekend off. But, let's say the bulk of America, the bulk of the people I deal with is Fridays, kind of the day before we go out and work on the things we want to work at. And Friday is the day before we actually go work our tail off. We go work at factories for overtime. We go work at restaurants to earn extra tip money to serve people. I have entertainers that on weekends, that's basically their total work and gravy time. One of my businesses, Tom's Donuts, we literally bring people in every weekend, two acts every weekend to perform out in front of people waiting in line to buy donuts, right? Or to be served. So I know it's Fri Fri Friday. I want you to get it, but I know there's some people out there right now, probably watching me right now, and they're like, "Hey, not Fri. I'm working hard today, and I got to get up at 4 a.m. tomorrow. I got to get up at 3 a.m. on Sunday. Where's my Friday? I don't got a Friday. Todd, give me a Friday." Well, I think every day should be the day before the day you want to have the day. Fri Fri Friday. So I want you to celebrate Fri Fri Friday on Monday, Tuesday, and so on and so on. You smart people out there, you know what I'm trying to say. So I just want to encourage you. This is my job. I'm your Barnabas. I want to encourage you that things are going to be great. Things are going to be good. Things are going to be okay. It's Friday. And I think sometimes we just get wondering too much about how things are going to be. I think we get to wondering just a little bit too much about how am I ever going to overcome? How am I ever going to get through this morning? I'm guilty. I'm literally up, I'm up early in the morning. I'm in that shower and I'm like, oh, there are some days, if you've all been in the shower and you're like, oh, God, I don't know if I can go through with this morning routine. I don't know that I can, the pain. I'm not laughing at you. I'm laughing with you. I mean, it's the pain, man. It's like the rigmarole of the things. But I think there's just something that gives us some go-go juice. It just kind of turns a corner for us sometime every morning that takes us and pushes us and excels us into that next moment of the morning or the day or that Fri Fri Friday. Because we're working for something. Sometimes we don't know what we're working for. But Friday makes us think about, hey, maybe there's a day off coming. And I think that's the Fri Fri Friday message I want to give you on today's Fri Fri Friday is there is a day coming. There is a day of reprieve coming. There is a day coming that we can all look forward to, right? There's a day coming that we're really going to have some time off. And we're going to be like, the lady floating in gravity the other day when I showed you that video, that day where we're just not really being pulled by the gravity of this earth and the gravity of this world and pulling us back to places we don't want to be pulled back. Just not being pulled at all. So I love Friday. I love the idea that Friday's here. I love the idea that there is a hope, that there'll be some time off. There'll be some less stress around the corner. And so the title of today's story is We're Not Going Anywhere. We are here to stay. We're not going anywhere. This group of people, this group of believers I was assured by Natasha, we're not going anywhere. She told me on the Facebook, on the reply. Yesterday we had, 300 comments before half of the show was over. And, that may not be a lot to some podcasters out there, but it sure is a lot to me. I didn't even have 200 views in my first 2 shows. And I was assured by Natasha. Never met Natasha. But thank you, Natasha. I was assured by Natasha. We have as many viewers on today as we did with the giveaway. I just want you to know this affirms my Fri Fri Friday wish. This affirms my Fri Fri Friday prayer. This affirms that there is good coming. And I'm telling you, when you listen to this show, you start thinking about good things. You don't think about negative things. I don't want you to be. I was on a podcast the other day with my good friend Richard Kaufman. He's got millions of viewers, and we did an hour-and-a-half podcast. Oh, it blew my brain. I was like, Richard, hour and a half. I can't do anything in an hour and a half unless I was running or training or something. But he said, Todd, when I introduce you as the Swiss Army knife of positivity. Oh, come on now, somebody. That's pretty cool. To have someone think about you that way and to say those things. I want you to know, I took that serious. I wrote it down. I put it in my notes. Swiss Army. Chris, pay attention to that one. Swiss Army knife of positivity. I think that's some marketing stuff there, man. I bought $500 worth of coffee off of Richard for being just having such a great heart, a great mind, and understanding what God's will in his life is on a Fri Fri Friday. Thank you, Natasha, for sending us all this message. We are here to stay. And when she said we are here to stay, she was responding. I believe, Natasha, I don't see comments right now, and we have a lot of comments coming. I said, I believe, Natasha, you're responding to the point when I said, I appreciate all of you followers, our explosive growth from 10,000 to 22,000 followers in the last 3 months or so. And they're listening. And some of y'all have won some money for following, and sharing. Some of you say, well, you're just buying your friends. I don't know. Part of business is marketing. Part of business is persuading. Part of business is alluring. But see, here's the thing. I thought the same thing in some regards. I'm like, what is going on here? How will this work? Followers come. Very few followers have left. And some of the biggest advocates of Wired Differently, some of the biggest advocates of the show with comments, likes, shares, follows, and encouragement to me, my Barnabas to me, and I'm their Barnabas to you. You mentor me, I mentor you. We go through, we do all these things for each other, right? And some of the biggest ones that have really been supporting me, hundreds of you out there, didn't win a penny. I'm like, man. Are they going to stay? Are these people that I'm influencing, that you are now helping me influence, that we're sharing and liking and following and preaching and teaching and endorsing? Because my job is to build you personally. My job is to build you spiritually. My job is to build you profitably. And I want to do all those things. And if we can triangulate your spiritual growth with your personal growth, I can help grow your profitable growth. And I think sometimes we get confused about what profit is and what we're trying to grow in that regard. I'm going to talk about that today a little bit on Fri Fri Friday, but I want to let you know, Natasha re-encouraged me. She was like one of the people that probably shared and liked the most, and I can't get enough of Natasha. She's on there. But here at the end of the day, Natasha, she didn't win anything. And I gave out honorable mentions. I gave out and I gave some other gifts out. I did some other things for some other people, and they jumped out and did some things. I got a guy named Ezra who's doing crazy things for me too. And hey, he didn't win a damn thing. But Tasha, now let me talk to you about Natasha. My biggest fear, they only want my money. They only want the money. God has given me money. He's blessed me in my life. He's taught me how to build these businesses. He's taught me how to do these things. He's taught me how to share. He's taught me how to learn from my own problems. He's taught me how to forgive. And we're going to talk about Luke 6:35. We're going to talk about that. But I want to get back to Natasha, because Natasha told me after I said all these things to you, some 300-400 comments, I was scrolling through them, and Natasha popped up again, and she said, Todd, We are here to stay. So I just wanted to throw that out there to you guys. I know that we're doing things, we're moving through life, and we're listening to the show. We're not listening. We're coming back and forth. I have a lot of people doing it. I appreciate all of it. But I want you to know, Natasha said we're here to stay. And what I heard her say is your movement, your mindset, your mission, your ministry is here to stay. I'm here to stay. You're here to stay. Thank you, Natasha. So this movement, we need to celebrate it. We need to keep coming together. We need to be thinking about the things in life. And today I wanted to teach a little bit to you about basically loving your enemies. I mean, like, God has talked to me about this 100 times. But we're here to stay. And one of the reasons we're here to stay is because we are called to, yes, love our enemies. We're called to love everybody the best we can. That was God's love. He built us in his own image. He only built us in his image, not just for those who accept him in his life. He built us in his image, even if we don't know him. He built us in his image, even if we don't love him. He built us in his own image, even if we hate God. Let me tell you something right now. If you hate God, God loves you. If you hate God, he built you the way you are to be who you are, but he wants you to see the things the way they can be. In his image. And so one of the business lessons I have the most trouble with, I'm going to confess today. I'm going to confess today because I know that I'm supposed to love my enemies. And I watch the news. I've not watched it so much lately. But I have held myself back on many, many occasions after getting whipped up on Fox News or something of that nature. And I catch myself saying, man, I just hate that. I just hate that dude. I just hate that person. And it's such a vicious, ferocious, toxic word. I let it in my head. That word shouldn't, I don't even know if it exists in the Bible. I mean, I'm going to research that one. Anybody want to research that? I mean, does the word hate even exist in the Bible? I mean, it's like the worst cuss word. My parents taught me hate is worse than the F word. Hate is worse than any dirty word you can come up with. It's like the most dangerous, most toxic, most ferociously evasive, most corrupt, most corrosive word you could use is hate. And here I am watching somebody pronouncing something in their lives and their belief structure, right? That's against the way I feel about it. And I think the word hate. When I think we think about that, listen, don't BS me, man. Don't tell me you've never been there. It doesn't have to be politics. It can be someone doesn't believe the way you believe. It doesn't have to be even just in religious stuff. Hate is just like this thing. And so I want to talk to you about that because we're here to stay. We're not going anywhere. And Natasha said she's not going anywhere. And whatever group she represents, metaphorically, they're not going anywhere. And what I think she was trying to say is, yeah, we appreciate what you're doing, Todd. We know you gave away a little bit of money. And by the way, some of the people that got money, someone was from Tennessee yesterday who won the big prize of $500, right? Regina, but the person who won 150 or 150 or 150, some of them were for other parts of the world. And one of them sent back to me. She said, Todd, I want to thank you. I want to thank you so much. You don't even know me. And you sent me $150. Yes, I did. I said, she says, but $150 over here is over $300 in our money. You don't realize how much you changed my life with $150 US. Now, here's the thing I'm trying to explain to you on a Fri Fri Friday. Is that we're here to stay. Christian belief structure is here to stay. Natasha was telling me she's here to stay for the show, I believe. But as I dug into Natasha's profile, I dug into Natasha's images and pictures, and I did on the Facebook. It's not creeping. It's just is what it is. You got followers. You look at them. They look at me. That's what we're here to. We're marketing. And I followed. I looked at. She's a Christian woman. She's a hardworking Christian woman. She's someone out there that really, I believe, says we're here to stay. And metaphorically or deep down inside, she is saying, God is here to stay. Christ is here to stay, because this show is representing things in the entrepreneurial mindset. But what's happened with this job or this work or this routine or this show or the Wire Differently mindset, mission, movement, or ministry is that it's morphed into more of a teaching and an uplifting program in the mornings than it is on the science of business. Well, because I got to tell you that the real thing I know about business is this. The thing I know about business is it doesn't work without God. Well, you say Elon Musk is doing pretty good. You say Bill Gates owns the world now, I guess. I don't know. My wife's so upset with Bill Gates. I hope she never meets Bill Gates. I hope Tracy Saylor and Bill Gates never run into each other in a dark alley because I feel sorry for Bill Gates. We get so much trouble. What is the truth? I mean, we're not fond of Bill Gates. We don't like the vax position and all the farm ground he's growing and the position he's taking on so many things. But I can't hate Bill Gates. I'm not called to hate Bill Gates. Matter of fact, it's the opposite. And that's why Natasha is so smart. That's why Natasha is the wise person I'm calling out this morning. Natasha, we're here to stay, not because of money that's being handed out by me or Bill Gates. We're here to stay because we believe in the Christian way. Thank you, Natasha. Bill Gates, stay away from my wife. I'm just giving you a warning. But at the end of the day, we're called to literally love. I mean, I guess in a certain way, Bill Gates might be my enemy because of his belief structures, right? The things that he's putting forward. Listen, man, I'm sure he's done a lot of great things. The reason I'm basically on this computer right now has a lot to do with him, unless you listen to TikTok and then they'll say it had to do with other people. And who knows what everyone's going to say. That's a beautiful thing about the world, free speech, free will, and all the things that are going on here. But we could use him as an example of someone who I'm not fond of from a political position or even an entrepreneurial mindset. I got to revere him in some regards for the success he's had in this world, in this earth. But listen, we're not playing for ball. We're not playing for the wins on this earth. We're playing for the afterlife. And here's what we're trying to say. When you have to triangulate, the businesses that I have that have only been successful in life is when I've triangulated my personal growth, my spiritual growth, and my profitable growth have all been yielded when I'm looking and going north to God, right? When I'm following the simple principles that God's put forth us in the Bible. And then what I really want to talk to you about today that I'm setting up is why we're here to say is to love your enemy. And good night, it's so hard to do. Because love is such a strong word. God, do I have to love Bill Gates? Come on now, that's just a little bit too much. That's a little, I mean, I know what you're talking about. I know what you're trying to say, but love, like literally love. Then he goes on and looks to say, matter of fact, love your enemies, do good to them. Now, I get it. I can love them from afar, but do I have to actually do good to them? And here's what really gets me in Luke 6:35. He says, just love your enemies. I'll try. Do good to them. Oh, that's even worse, right? And then God goes even further. He goes up there and he says, listen, Todd, I don't only want you to love your enemies. I don't even want you to do good for your enemies. Listen to this. Todd, listen, bro, come over here. I want you to understand something. I want you to lend them things without expecting anything back. God. That's it. That's too much. If it's not enough to love them, it's not enough to do good to them. Now you want me to give them something of mine? And then what? Not expect anything back? I mean, I thought we were in business here, God. I thought we were entrepreneurs. I thought we were business people. I thought we were down low trying to get the interest on the ROI and make all this business planning work and all this and come back to all this money for me and my family. And we're going to be spending the money, driving on the yachts and playing games and doing whatever we want to do. Freedom! My got the money. Show me the money. Fri, Fri, Fri. Man, that's what I had in mind, God. That's why I went into business. That's why I hired a coach named Todd Saylor. Wired differently, toddsaylor.com. Get there. He's a crazy out of Fri Fri Friday. Hire him. He'll teach you how to make money. Woo! Hard to take myself serious sometimes. From the donut capital of the world. So back to God. God. So listen. Let's straighten up here just a little bit, man. Because I know I love having these intimate times with you. I love having these conversations with you. I've really decided to love my enemies. And I've decided to actually do good to my enemies. Now, can we just talk a little bit about this one about lending them money, lending them things, and expecting nothing back in returns? Because my entire existence has been revolved around me making interest on my investments. And Grant Cardone taught me that you're nothing if you're not buying real estate. You're nothing if you're not aspiring to be a million and gazillionaire. I heard Grant Cardone tell me his wife only really aspired him to become a billionaire. And his identity was almost attached to becoming a billionaire. Look, I just listened to him. I think he's an amazing man, but I'm just saying, man, Grant Cardone Grant Cardone expects a win and interest on everything that he ever does. I'm just trying to tell you, the man is successful. He's done everything possible that we can do out here, and he's a inspiration to many people. And I look at Bill Gates, and I look at Elon Musk. I look at one of my favorite people of all time, Steve Jobs. And I'm like, these people were expecting ROIs. The stock market's expecting ROIs. Everything in the world is expecting. In this world is expecting an RO damn I. So why can't I? So, God, help me out with this a little bit. Well, Todd, let me tell you this. If you love your enemy, if you do good to them, if you lend them things without expecting anything back, here's what I'll do for you. There's something for me in this? Of course, Todd. Your reward will be great. And you will be children of the Most High. But he is kind because he is kind and grateful to even the wicked. Now, at first, you read all that and you think about it and you hear it. And you wonder, is that compelling enough? I mean, I got to love my enemies. I got to do good to my enemies. I got to lend to them without expecting anything back in hopes that I will be part of the children, a child of the Most High. And then God, I almost feel like he digs at me just a little bit here, because not only you are a good person and you're in my faith and you're in my will and you're all these things and you're adding my own image and you're looking up to me and I'm going to see you into the kingdom. But he says, but even though you do all those things, I'm going to make you a child of God. He says then because he is kind to even the ungrateful and he is kind to the wicked. So he's giving me the same shout out as he's giving to the unkind and the wicked. And that's my reward. And it's just this reverse technology or this reverse ideology here that just smacks me in the face and says, man, God, you're just asking for a lot from me. You see, I know you're in business to make money. And here, let me just unpack this a little bit, because God wants you to be fruitful too. He wants you to be profitable too. He wants you to make money too. And so when I break this down, I pray it over and I think about it. I just want to give you some hope and some power in this, because I do know that your enemies matter. I do know that we can't get away from doing good for them. I do know that we're supposed to love our enemies. I do know that God has clearly straight up called us to those things. But to lend them without expecting anything back is really trippy to me, man. And I want you to understand it's okay for that to be trippy for you. And I know you're going to be a child of God. You're already probably a child of God. And I'm even okay, because I want you to be kind to the ungrateful, and I want you to be merciful and kind to the wicked, because we want them to convert and be kind to others. We want them to feel that love. But let's just unpack this in the final few minutes of this. Lend them without expecting receiving anything back. So, my friends, it's you're in business. God isn't telling you not to be profitable here. God isn't telling you not to lend money to anybody that's not evil or an enemy. God's not telling you to not lend to people that are equally yoked with you in the Christian faith or your religious faith. God is just telling you to understand that you need to lend money to people he's telling you to lend without expecting receiving anything back. God did not lend them money without expecting receiving anything back. And this is what really God spoke to me this morning. I really feel like he wanted to share. He's really speaking to you about lending them your favors, lending them your wisdom, lending them your help, lending them your might, lending them your strength, lending them even maybe your support. I mean, the things that we're called to lend to our enemies aren't just relegated to cash, money, Bitcoin, whatever you're dealing with anymore. I think God is really, really talking about here. Lend yourself to them. Open yourself to them. Give of yourself to them. Pray for them. Support them. Hold true to your beliefs. Hold true to your core. But it says, I'm reading it right now, Luke 6:35, lend to them without expecting to receive anything back. And when I first interpret that, I thought, I got to give them money because I have been burnt so many times by lending money. I have been burnt so many times by giving people tangible goods that equate to money. And I don't think God is talking about that. I think God is talking more about lending yourself to them. And for some of us, money is part of ourselves. That is how we can lend to others. So I'm not saying he isn't speaking about money. I think he's speaking about you right now. What are you giving of yourself to the people that you don't like? What are you giving of yourself to the people on Fox News that you don't like? What are you giving of yourself to the people on CNN or MSNBC that you don't like? What are you giving yourself to the enemies of this world? What are you giving of yourself? And now watch this, trying not to expect an ROI. You know, I got a good friend named Cody, and he's brilliant. And we talked about him probably the last couple of days on and off here. And he is a brilliant networker. He's a brilliant man, and he gives himself relentlessly. He's just a good guy in that regard. But there's a lot of networkers out there that make a living of going around and making friends and leveraging ideas and doing all this and just networking people to put them together for very, very good. But a lot of people are out there just doing it to get an ROI on a relationship. And I've done it. I probably still do it in certain ways. I mean, I'm trying my hardest to give to you of so much because I want you to understand. I want you to give back to this mindset, mission, ministry, and movement. I'm guilty. And that's that line between manipulation and motivation. God has given us these gifts, right? Honestly, when I do the show, I haven't really thought much about what comes back for me. But what I do when I write the books, I do when I write and teach and coach, I need some fuel to continue the ministry that I'm doing here. I need some fuel to keep paying the people that are supporting me for my infrastructure, Chris and Chad and Heather and Abby, Jeannie. It's just a thick group of 5 or 6 people that have to get paid, right? But I want to challenge you this morning. I really want you to figure out who these enemies, these people that are not in your favor, people being yielding or not yoked with you. I want you to think about them, and I want you to think about what are you giving to them and not expecting anything back from. I'm going to work on it. Natasha said we're here to stay. And one of the reasons we're here to stay is because we're willing to look at Luke 60. We're willing to look at 6:35. We're willing to say we're going to look at our enemies differently. We're going to look at the people that we don't believe the same we are differently. We need to do good for them. We need to lend to them without expecting any returns. Hard pill to swallow. But just take away the idea of money. What are you lending them in witness? What are you lending them in support? What are you lending them in ideas? What are you lending them in your mind, in your heart, in your soul? Can you start to lend them things in that regard? And what comes back is of God, not even of them. Because then the reward will be great. You'll be counted as one of his children, right? Because we understand that God is even kind to the ungrateful and the wicked. Well, listen, this has been a great show this morning. I really appreciate everything that we're doing. I want you to understand that I love you. I love you. I love you. I want you to think about the ROI of not having an ROI. I want you to think like Luke has called us the doctor in the Bible. You know, Luke wasn't even an apostle, but he got one of the books in the Bible. Come on now, Luke. Shout out for Luke. Thank you, Luke, for bringing this to our attention. Thank you for writing it down. Thank you for living the life. Thank you for not looking for an ROI in your life and what you've given to enemies and people that think differently than you. Empower me to be the same. Come on now, everybody. Have a great day. It's Fri Fri Friday. I love you. I love you.